hail Biafra. This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please do subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Her Excellency, Interim Prime Minister, COS, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze. That's why the whole place is on fire.
Thank you so much.
We are glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
And welcome back from Finland.
Thank you so much, Biafrans. All hail Biafra. Thank you so much. All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
All hail the United States of Biafra.
All hail Biafra.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We welcome everyone. We welcome we're gonna all right, okay, so we're going to when you request to talk, somebody's gonna unmute you so that we don't have a lot of background noise. Thank you so much, everyone. We welcome Biafrans today. We welcome our special guest, Attorney Levy. Welcome to our meeting today. We are glad to have you here today. We welcome all the new cabinet members of the United States of Biafra. We welcome all the wonderful ex-Brigade cabinet members, part of the cabinet. We welcome the press. We welcome our friends and our allies. We also welcome our enemies here watching today. Because without you, we can't go far. So we appreciate everyone and the role they play in making this government stronger than ever. We are very, very happy today to have the Deputy Prime Minister for the United States of Biafra, Chief of Staff to Brigade, and Chief of Staff to the Biafra government in exile. I welcome everyone today. We thank our men on ground that is not shaken by the politics in the social media. We thank you for what you do. We thank you for being resolute. We thank you for distancing yourself from the politics of the distractors that have tried to distract us using your name. And I'm very, very happy you stood up to do what our Prime Minister wants you to do. We welcome and thank His Excellency, our Prime Minister, Abato Die, the Agune Chamber, His Excellency Simon Ekpa. We thank you so much for what you do. We thank you so much for your services. We thank you for the redeclaration of the United States of Biafra. We thank you so very much. We also thank our leader, Onyendu Nnamdi Kanu, for being where you are today because of us. We thank you for your resoluteness. We thank you for your steadfastness. We thank you for your support. We thank you for standing for the freedom of our people, just like our own Obatobie is doing. Fellow Biafrans, I thank you so much for coming today. Let me thank everyone today for your support to this government. Despite the distractions, like somebody have said, without this transition, without this distraction, we may not get to where we're going. So this is part of those things. But what determines our state, what determines how we move forward is the way we handle some of these minor distractions coming from every corner, few corners actually. Handle them is what is going to determine how we move in the future. I thank everyone. As you're aware, we just returned from Finland, where we went to declare our independence. Right now, the United States of Biafra is a free and independent nation, even though we are still struggling and trying to protect our territory. We must continue to do that. But like our Prime Minister said, after our declaration, anybody coming to tell you that we are going to perform magic overnight, that means they've not been truly following our leader, His Excellency our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. Because our PM has consistently said the essence of our declaration is to get all the necessary documents we need to start reaching out to international communities, to start reaching out to the world, to get the recognition we need to function as a full-fledged independent nation. That task is on course. Nothing has changed. Nothing has moved. Meanwhile, we continue to use all the other multi-dimensional approach which our Prime Minister has established, which is one, self-defense. We must defend our country against external aggressors, like the terrorist state of Nigeria. Our angels will continue to confront the reintegrated terrorists wearing Nigerian military and uniform in our territory. The Monday sit at home must continue. We must continue that because that is part of our referendum until our country is fully defended. We are continuing to start using the political aspects and the diplomatic aspect to engage our allies and also our enemies. It is very, very critical and very important that we do that. So everything our Prime Minister has set in place is consistently in motion. Let nobody deceive you or tell you otherwise. Let me start by welcoming the new cabinet of the United States of Biafra. As most of you are aware, we have a new cabinet established by the United States of Biafra. Those that have been following our Prime Minister closely, we know he has publicly and openly declared, once the United States of Biafra is declared, the Brigade Cabinet will be dissolved. That is exactly what we did. We are in line with that order. Nobody can change that order unless the person has another person they are following or another country they are working for. As long as it's the United States of Biafra and Brigade, that order stands and not to be questioned, because there is a reason why our Prime Minister gave that order. And we are following that. Let me introduce the list of the Brigade Cabinet members, of the United States of Biafra Cabinet members. These are the members that will steer the ship of this United States of Biafra to the level that our Prime Minister wants it to be. The first list I'm going to mention is, again, the new cabinet members who have 1 or 2 minutes to introduce themselves and also to take questions from Biafrans and from the press, if anybody have any view, any opinion, whatever. But there'll be an opportunity for that. All right. The Cabinet of the United States of Biafra government, the first person on that list is our leader, Excellency Ngozi Nnamdi Kanu. That is the leader of our cabinet. Our Prime Minister is His Excellency Obato Obie, the Peace Ambassador Simon Ekpa Njako. We have the Deputy Prime Minister, the interim COS, who is my humble self, Dr. Ngozi Orabueze / Patricia Omogbai, who will resume office at the appropriate time. We have our Secretary of State, Engineer Christian Udozo. We have our Secretary of Defense, Engineer Solomon Nkwocha / CB. We have the Secretary of the Treasury, Vera Orji. We have the Secretary of Justice, Attorney Jane Iwunze. We have the Secretary of Energy, Emmanuel Yakubu. We have the Secretary of Oil and Gas, Bennett Anyanwu. We have the Secretary of Education, Dr. Ngozi Okpalaenwe. We have the Secretary of Youth and Sports, Gozie Jonathan. We have the Secretary of Commerce and Industry, Benjamin Jonathan. We have the Secretary of Science and Technology, Honorable Praise Egu. We have the Secretary of Arts, Culture, and Tourism, Judith Osazuwa. We have the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Dr. Ofoma. We have the Secretary of Transportation and Logistics, Edward Ibe. We have the Secretary of Policy and Strategic Planning, Paul Adinam. We have the Secretary of Interior and Homeland Security, Dr. Dorothy Anthony. We have the Secretary of Community and Social Services, Princess Uduak. We have the Secretary of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Dr. Ferdinand Okang. We have the Secretary of Employment, Labor and Productivity, Honorable Ula Obuna. We have the Secretary of Finance, Economic Development and Trade, Pharmacist Diane Ene. We have the Secretary of Housing, Urban Development and Infrastructure Planning, Reverend Ebenezer Anene. We have the Secretary of Water Resources and Environmental Management, Dr. Cornelius Nana. We have the Secretary of Information, Telecom and Postal Services, Dr. Princess Aguirre. That will take us to the second list, where we have the deputy secretaries to some of these departments. We have the Department of State, Director of Foreign Affairs, Adeza. We have, for North and South America, we have Honorable Uche Obi, European, African, Oceanic, Asian Affairs. The Department of Defense, Deputy Secretary, CB / Philip Ajoko. Department of Justice, we have the Religious Freedom and Monitoring, headed by Dr. Sister Dominica Olewune. Under the Jewish, we have Apostle Steve Ajubi. Christianity, we have Ada Ono. Department of Education, Deputy Secretary, we have Henry Agunwa. Department of Arts, Culture, and Tourism, Deputy Secretary, the Warri Sister. Department of Health and Human Services, Deputy Secretary, Dr. Frank Modibe. Department of Transportation and Logistics, Deputy Secretary, Okpole Nwadioka. Department of Community and Social Services, Deputy Secretary, Victoria Frank. Women and Children Services, Nkendering James. Disability Department, Pastor Rose Allen. Department of Finance, Economic Development and Trade, Deputy Secretary, Bridget YJ. Department of Information, Telecommunication and Postal Services, Deputy Secretary Tochi Namani, the media team. We have Voice of Biafra, Ugo 247, QTV, Biafra Writers of Conscience, Rama. These are some of the departments. We have the deputy secretaries already occupied. Each of these departments is expected to expand their unit. Those of you that were present in Finland, you know that under each of these departments, we have so many other departments. And each of those secretaries, each of the secretaries working closely with the Department of Labor and Productivity, will be able to expand all these departments. Again, these are the secretaries of the United States of Biafra, and we welcome all of them to this task ahead, which is going to be to take the United States of Biafra to the level that our Prime Minister will be able to work comfortably with, without any distractions. That is our task. We do not want him to come out and meet this government the way he left it. That is our task. It is also the task of every Biafra that is listening here. Let me quickly bring us to know that our angels are doing what they need to do, getting all the support they are getting, both from our defense minister and from the finance department. Again, as some of you may be aware, we can only work with what we have. A couple of items that was left by our Prime Minister before this slight incident he had have been hijacked by some individuals. Moving forward, all our fundraisings will go to the New Dimension mandate until the United States of Biafra account is established. Any liaison head, any rep head that diverts the fund of this government to another source will be replaced immediately. It is our task to continue to fund our men on ground and also attend the functions of the government and pay the bills for the government. We've been denied access to the IPOB-USA.gov account and also the Homeland account. We've been denied access to that. And there's no way we can function without access to those accounts. That is why we are going to use the New Dimension mandate to continue to raise massive funds for this government until we switch to our USD account. In the area of our, I know I've been able to meet with our attorneys, a couple of them. And again, each and every one of them have their different assignment given by the Prime Minister. The expectation is that they continue to do that task assigned to them by our Prime Minister. So far, we have a couple of individuals that have tried to do their own thing and paint this government on a very bad light. And this government, we're not going to allow that to happen. Moving forward, anyone who has the interests of this government at heart must dissociate themselves from individuals like Oge Chukwunkere, Sonny Aparawa, Raphael Ajere, Vision 555, 247 United or something. These individuals are not working on behalf of this government. Anybody in any form that associates themselves with these individuals is doing so to the detriment of this government.